we're looking at 12-bar blues in the key of E, and we've got this play-along track that we're going to refer to. And today, what I'm specifically looking at is the movement of a 1 chord to a 4 chord. This is just such a classic movement in the blues and in everything else as well. But it's fun to learn it in the blues and get a feel for it. So we're going to take a look at a few permutations of what it is to play a 1 to a 4 to a 1 in the blues specifically, and more specifically in the key of E. All right, what is a 4? Count on your fingers. This is what I've said to my students like more times than I can count. E, F, G, A. Good enough, right? You don't necessarily need the E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Just count on your fingers. Get used to being able to snap out E to A is a 4, right? Or A to D is a 4. Or B to E is a 4, okay? So let's take a look at the E first of all. And I'm just going to play this. And so like this. You've heard this. Right? So what's happening there? A lot of books are going to tell you that what's happening here is an E power chord going to an E sixth. But actually, that's not what's happening. What's happening is this, E. And so we're going to a first inversion of an A chord. So that progression, that little line itself, is just going from a 1 chord to a 4 chord. But if we were to take this to the next chord, to the A7, that would mean that the A was going from a 1 chord to a 4 chord as well, right? And it is. Or we could do... and it really is just like this. There's lots of different ways to play it. So it's just an A chord to a D chord. So again, we just started with that simple line there. We've revealed that that simple line is not going from a power chord to a sixth, but it's going to an inversion of the 4 chord, right? Here's another example of that, which is sort of a cool one. Here's we're pedaling the E. Okay, that's just E to A, right? E, A, E. Now if we move that up, all we're doing is going from an E to an A to another E. This is just an inversion of an E. We've got the 7th on the bottom and the 5th on top. We can do the same thing. It's a nice line. It works beautifully. You can extrapolate that all over the fretboard, but for now, we're just going to sort of stick in the key of E. Okay, now let's take this one step further. So 1 chord, just the root and the 3, going to the 5 and the root, and then back to the root and the 3. 5 and the root of the 4 chord. Okay, and I've still got that, the root of the key pinned down. So the root of the key is E. Just like I did down here. Okay. Now I'm going to take that and turn it into a little line. Right? So I'm going to from the 1 to the 4, back to the root of the key, and up to the 3 from the flat 3. And what that's defining, what that line is defining, is just the 1 to the 4, except you've got that cool flat 3. And then we can move that up to the 4 chord, right? And we can move that up to the 5 chord, to the B. So in each case, I'm going from the 1 to the 4 to the 1. In A, I'm going from the 1 to the 4 to the 1, the 4 in the key of A, counting on the fingers, A, B, C, D, right? I'm just going like this. To the D, A to the D, and then here, 1 to 4 on the B, B to E. A to D, E to A. And I add that little flat 3 line. And coming back to the root, and that root is in both chords. When I say root, in this case, I mean the root of the key. Now I'm just going to take that line through a 12-bar blues, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Here. You get the idea. Okay, so what this style is about is, if you want to call it a style, it's about nailing the chords. It's about always knowing where you are in the changes, and then being able to define lines that work over each of the chords. This is not the only way you can look at things, but it works great. I can do the same thing on a single chord as well. Like if I don't go to the 4 chord, right there, I've got that flat 3 moving to the major 3, and I'm pinning the 7 on the top. It's very colorful, and it you know, it sort of bites. I'll play that against the track. Check it out. Get the idea. So when I'm thinking of playing a line in this style, I'm thinking of playing the defining the chord. In this case, I'm defining the chord by playing the 3 and the 7 of the chord, or in other words, the tritone, and I'm adding that blue note of the flat 3, and I'm doing that over each chord. There are so many different ways to look at doing this, and as you can see, I'm following the chord changes up and down the fretboard, which is also a really great way of just getting used to this kind of idea and being able to hear it. So here we have the 7 and the 3. Here we have there's lots of other ways that we can define the chord. You know, you can make up your own lines, and I'm sure that they'll be as good as mine. Here, I'll try one more. And so in this case, I've got the 7th on top, and I've got a 5th on the bottom, and that double stop. So the same thing is going to apply for this, right? And then if we add the 4, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I've hardly ever used that before. But that works great, right? And so all I'm doing is looking at the chord. There's my E7, there's another E7, and I just take that, extrapolate that to another key. Right? I'm just playing the notes in the chords, and phrases you can phrase whatever works for you. We started with the 1 to the 4. This is not a 1 to a 6, as I've seen in almost every book I've looked at. That's wrong. It's an inversion of the 4 chord. That's a big deal. Listen for things that way, and it'll make a lot more sense. So yeah, it's cool to play an E to an A, a 1 chord to a 4 chord, an A to a D, a 1 chord to a 4 chord, a B to an E, a 1 to a 4. And the same thing is going to apply in blues in every single key, right? These are ways that you can play and practice these things. So, you know, each of these is really that I'm doing with these backing tracks is a way that you can practice yourself. You know, work on your triads, for instance. You know, 3-note chords, 1 chord to 4. 1 chord to 4. You can hear that 1 chord to 4, and then go through a blues like this, and you'll do these things all over the fretboard, and before you know it, you're going to be doing stuff you never thought you knew before, or maybe you didn't know it before, but you'll know it now. Okay, so that's about it for today. Thanks for stopping by. Leave a comment, and I appreciate comments, and they let me know you're listening and learning, which I hope we're doing, and I hope you come here with your guitar. All right, see you real soon. Thanks for stopping by.